Okay, so I'm going to talk about some tools here and the result on the wall. As you can see, this has been quite a challenging area for somebody, and they've got a lot of scratches in it from too coarse of sandpaper grit. They've got lines in it here due to the edges of the trowel cutting in when they're trying to fill it in. I filled in a little bit here and then I've sanded it down. I'm going to have to fill in more to actually get to smooth out. So a lot of times, this is one of the tools laying down here, people are going to use a tool something like this and try to fill this in, and it's just not going to work. Besides leaving lines like this, you're going to have lines and scratches, and that's what's caused all this craziness here. So both this and that knife are for doing about the same thing. That's filling a nail hole. So what we want to talk about that you're going to use in something like this is something more like these knives. This is a taping knife. This is meant for tape that it runs about this wide. And this is the first step in the taping knife. Technically, you could run this trowel as a next step. And ideally, this here is, I think this one must be a 6, so this must be an 8. You're going to want to go on up from 8 to 10 or 12 inches to taper out all the edges. So part 2 of this, now I can use this, it's clever. I mean, I like it as a tool, and I could use this on here, but I'm going to be limited by 2 aspects. One, it's a taping knife, so it's going to be a straight edge pretty much. You can see I've got a little bit of bend on that corner, not so much on that one, but those corners will really gouge and cut, and that's how you end up with these here kinds of lines. This is probably from the knife coming here, and then the knife coming here, and it leaves a nice little trough for you. So what you want to do is have a bigger knife blade, wider blade. But the other part 2 of this that's very important to understand is that a professional has their blade actually bent. It's barely showing there, but there's just a little bit of a bend in it. And if there's not enough of a bend, you want to put it in. These here edges are made like that to be able to be bent slightly. So what you want is some cup, if you will. That blade's flexible and is meant to be cupped. So you don't want it to be too severe, but you want enough that whenever you're running that down there, it doesn't actually cut down. You can see there I did some cuts. So you don't want that scraping in like that. You want to actually be able to run the center of the knife or the bottom of the bow over that, because you're not ever going to get a flat wall. It's about getting all the troughs filled in and smoothed off so the light bounces off it nicely. But otherwise, this is not going to be square, and neither is your wall exactly. So this would work better. I'll shine over here. This would work better than those guys for filling in a spot. This is going to be your next progression, and ideally you want to go from this to at least a 12-inch or even maybe bigger if you're working with a humongous piece like this.